Good evening, everyone. We'll be looking at management information (MI), and our topic for tonight's class will be cost and cost behavior. Under this topic, we'll look at the content of this topic. One, costs and cost terminology. So, we want to define costs and all those terms that relate to what cost and cost behavior. Two, we'll look at cost classification by type and function. So, we want to classify different costs of production into different types and their function. Three, we look at fixed and variable costs. Yes, I think we are looking at AMI, which is a prerequisite for performance management in your skills level. You should be able to know fixed cost and variable cost, and how can you the meaning of fixed cost and how you arrive at the variable cost. Another thing we look at direct and indirect costs. What is direct cost and what is indirect cost? So you want to understand the difference between direct and indirect cost. Then lastly, we look at the product cost and the period cost. So we look at the product cost and period cost. Now let's go to the subtopic one, cost and cost terminology. So let's define cost. Now, what is cost itself? Is it cost? What is cost? In cost accounting, which is which is similar to management information or management accounting. We said cost, it can be the cost as defined by accountants is a resources sacrificed or forgone to achieve a specific objective. It is usually measured at the monetary amount that must be paid to arrive at. So when we say cost, when I say any resources forgone in order to achieve a particular objective. That means if you want to produce pen, for example, now you need labor, you need material. Materials are the resources that you forgone in order to achieve that pen. So we are saying that material is the cost of the pen. That labor that work in the production of that pen, they say is the cost of the what the pen. So is the cost of the pen. So let's look at two, cost objective. This is anything for which a separate measurement of cost is desired. Examples examples of cost objective include the cost of a product, cost of rendering service, and the cost of operating a department among others. So cost object is anything for which a separate measurement of cost is designed. And it's the cost object. So cost accumulation is the collection of cost data in some organized way by means of an accounting system. So cost accumulation is a process whereby you accumulate cost, you collect cost, that is collect different cost that relate to a particular product into a particular to know the total, or that is a cost accumulation. Cost assignment. What is cost assignment? It's a general term that encompasses both tracing accumulated costs to a cost object and allocating accumulated cost to a cost object. Now, when you say cost assignment, that means if you are cost assignment is a method whereby you trace costs, maybe from different center to a particular cost object. Let's say, for example, let's say cost assignment in a company that produces let me say they produce pen, for example. Now, the organization might have a canteen, and maybe the canteen is run by the organization. That is the organization, they they pay the people working in the canteen, and so the canteen is being owned by the organization. Now, how can the organization trace the cost of the canteen to the cost of the object they produce in order for them to know if they are making profit or not? So the process whereby they try to assign the cost of the canteen into the cost object, which is the pen produced, to know the total cost of that pen. we will say is a course assignment. We have course centers. Course centers. So this is any location, persons or items of equipment for which course may be ascertained and used for the purpose of course control. Course unit. What is course unit? A course unit may be defined as a quantitative unit of product or service in relations to which costs are ascertained. It is a unit of output or service to which cost can be related. I want to say a cost unit. I say a unit of an items. So I want to say a cost unit. For example, you might produce like 50,000 pens, and the total cost of production of producing this can be 5 million. Want to know what is the cost of you producing a unit of that pen? So that process is called a cost unit. That cost is that cost of it producing a unit of that item of that product or service. He said is cost unit. What is costing? Costing is a process of determining the cost of products or services or activities. Now let's look at examples of activities, cost object, and what the cost units. Now let's look let, and in a particular industry, car manufacturers. So the cost objects, that is what are they producing? The object himself is a car. The car they produce is a car produced. While the cost unit is the cost of a car, that's cost of producing a car. Bakery, the cost object is what is the bread produced. The cost object is the bread produced. And what is the cost unit? Is a batch of bread items, because in bakery they produce in batches. So cost per unit is the cost per batch, that is cost in a batch. So how many units make up a batch? So the cost per what batch item. Steel works, steel produced, ton of steel. University, cost of teaching, because the object is what teaching. That is what they render teaching. And how do you ascertain the cost they incur in teaching? It is cost per student. So how many students they have? That is how they that is how they pay. So that is how they cost the teaching. That is cost per student. Then passenger transport service, the cost of transporting customers. The only cost unit is cost per passenger. So how much a passenger pay in a mile, cost per passenger in a mile. Now let's look at two, cost classification. What is cost classification? How can we classify cost? How can we classify cost? Classification is the process. Classification is the process of arranging items into groups according to their similarities or relationship. So that means sense classification. We want to classify groups of items into groups according to their similarities, according to how they are related to each other. It is officially defined as the arrangement of items in logical groups having regard to their nature. That is subjective classification or purpose, which is objective classification. So costs can therefore be classified in different ways according to the following. Now you can classify costs according to their behavior. Then how do they behave? Two, their nature. To the degree of control. Are they controllable costs or uncontrollable costs? So costs that can be controlled and costs that cannot be controlled. F- Function, responsibility center, and economic characteristics. Now, cost classification by nature, which is by nature. Let's go by nature. This may be described as a situation where the physical features or characteristics of cost items are used for classification. This classification is made up of all production costs used in producing goods. It is it is made up of three components, which are now, if you want to classify costs according to their nature, how you can classify them, how you can group them is into three major groups. One, cost of materials. For you to produce a particular items, you must incur material. So cost of material, cost of labor, which is the manpower the human use in the producing in the production of that item, cost of other expenses, which is overhead. So apart from labor, apart from material, what are other things that you incur? Expenses. So maybe fueling, maybe fueling, because these are expenses that you also incur in producing that items. Now, what is material? What is material cost? Material cost. This the cost of any material items purchased from suppliers with the intention of using them or consuming them in their fairly short-term futures. So material cost is a cost or item that you purchase from a supplier that you use to produce your own items. A manufacturing company, material costs include the cost of the raw materials that go into producing the manufactured output. In an office, cost of materials consumed include the cost of stationaries, replacement of printer cartridges for the office laser printers. So these are materials. Now let's look at labor cost. In cost accounting or manual accounting or performance management, human the human beings or personnel used in production is called labor. It's called labor. So what are the cost of that labor? Now the cost of the labor is what do you forgo for that labor? What do you give labor? The labor costs are the remuneration costs of all employees employed and paid by the entity. So all employee that you employ and paid for the production of a particular product or services is called labor cost. This include wages and salaries of part-time workers and the cost of any bonuses, pension contributions, and other items that are paid in addition to basic wages and salary. So this is labor cost. So apart from this wage and salary you pay them, their pension, their their bonuses, their labor cost. Another other cost that you must understand is expenses. That is expenses. Other expenses. Other expenses include the cost of any items that are not material costs or labor costs. So when you say other expenses, costs that are not material and they are not labor. So you say they are other expenses. They include the cost of services provided by external suppliers. The charge made by subcontractor, charge for repairs by external contractors, rental costs, telephone costs, insurance costs, cost of energy, which is gas or electricity, traveling and subsistence expenses or subsequent expenses, and depreciation charge for non-current assets. In any cost accounting system, all these items of course must be recorded, and they need and there is need to be an organized system for recording them. Cost items need to be grouped into categories of similar costs. Let's talk about cost calculation by function. The function. Now let me brief you to the meaning of function. In any organization or companies, there is functional department, functional areas. That means you will say these functional areas are called departments. In any organization, you will say, okay, we hear about the production department, the sales and marketing department, the admin department, the finance and accounting department, the procurement department, the research and development department. So the human resources department. And these are departments, and these departments are also called what? The functional areas. So costs incurred in such departments are called functional costs. Now, those departments might be grouped into two in the purpose of cost accounting. We group them into two, which is the production cost and the non-production cost. Now, let me go back to the department as I use as an example. Now, the production cost is the cost incurred by in the production department. So, because they are the only department in which the cost that they incurred is directly related to the production of that items. Why others are what? Non-production costs. Non-production costs. Now, what is the production cost? Production costs are the costs incurred in manufacturing finished produce up to the time that the manufacture of the course is completed, and the costs are either transferred to the finished goods inventory or delivered immediately to the customers. Now, production costs include, what are those costs that will be included in production costs? They are the costs just like the one of by nature, which is the cost of material, cost of labor, and other expenses. So, in the production department, we incurred material, labor, and what other expenses. Now, in the non-production costs are any items of cost that are not production cost related. That means non-production costs can be further classified according to their function. So we have the selling cost. This one is incurred by the selling, marketing and sales department. And distribution costs also incurred by the sales department. Admin costs and finance costs. These are other non-production costs. The importance of separating production and non-production costs. Why do we have to separate it? Because in cost accounting, we must separate all these costs into their production and what and non-production elements. Now, the reason of separating production and non-production costs include the following: one, to aid the production of financial statement. Now, in management information, now they also produce a financial statement which is called the management account for internal purpose. Now, this financial statement or profit statement, so in that statement, they must classify all their costs into production and non-production. Now, when you subtract your sales minus your production cost, then you will arrive at what we call um gross profit or contribution. Another reason why we must classify them, so separate them, is it helps in closing stock valuation. We want to know, okay, what is the value of the closing stock we have? And remember that closing stock is your materials used in production. Now, I want to know the value of the closing stock. It aid cost control. Nothing that it aid cost control, because for you to know costs that are relevant and costs that are not relevant, you want to eliminate costs. It helps you to eliminate cost reduction. That is the reason why you have to classify them into production and non-production cost. Now, classification by function. Now, in cost in cost accounting, costs are also often analyzed by function or their specific role performed. This is the practical most way financial accountants classify their costs. Such classification is based in the functional department in the organization. Now, this by function is when you're in your FA financial accounting, your financial statement classification of course is always by what function. It's always by function. In by function, we have manufacturing cost, which is similar to your production cost. We have admin cost, selling and research cost. So responsibility classification, right? Classification by responsibility. So what do you mean of responsibility classification? Now, cost items may be classified according to the various responsibility centers that incurred such costs. A responsibility centers is a department or organization function which perform is which whose performance is the direct responsibility of a specific manager. There are five types of responsibility centers. So in your exam, what is responsibility centers? So and types of responsibility centers. So we have cost center, we have revenue center, we have profit center, we have contribution center, and we have what investment center. Now, what is cost center? A cost center is a production or service location function, activity or items of equipment for which cost can be ascertained. So a cost center is we said is a production or service location function in which their major activity is to incur costs. So in the cost center, what we always see is that they only incur costs, just like the accounting department. Accounting department, what they incur is cost of stationery, cost of this, cost of that. So they just incur, you're not bringing in profit, so you're not bringing in revenue or sales. So we say such centers is an example of a cost center. Revenue center. A a revenue a revenue is A revenue center is a unit devoted to raising of revenue with no ability of for cost. For example is sales department. So these people, they always what they incur is always revenue. Their major aim is to raise, is to sell, is to bring sales to the company. By bringing sales is what bringing in what revenue. A profit center. A profit center is a production or service location whose function or activities for which cost and revenue can be ascertained. Now, in the profit center, what they do is that they incur both the profit and revenue. Sorry, they incur both the cost and the revenue. By the time you remove revenue minus cost, you will have profit. Investment centers. An investment centers is a profit center with additional responsibilities for for capital investment and possibly for financing, and whose performance is measured by its return or on investment. On investment. Now, what is the investment center? This centers is your when you in your BMF, business management business management and finance. Now, the major function of a financial manager, their own department is an investment center. What they do? They incurred both the profits and they also incur investment decision. That is, they help the company in terms of investment, what to invest in. So we said they are investment center. Contribution center. This is similar to profit center, but it's only incurred variable production cost and revenue. Now, classification cost behavior. What is cost behavior? Now, cost behave in different function, but mostly mostly we have two major cost behavior. So that means in any organization or companies, is either they have a fixed cost or what variable cost. Do we have other costs that might not be fixed nor variable cost? And let's explain cost behavior. Cost behavior refers to cost behavior refers to the way in which costs change as the volume of activity change. That means cost behavior means, okay, we have a particular cost. How will the cost increase or how will the cost decrease to change in activity level? Activity level means units of item you produce or number of hours in which they work as your activity level. Now, how would those costs change? How would they vary? Remember that if you want to produce five, if you want to produce five products of a particular item, maybe you require 10 components of a material to produce that five. If you want to produce 10 components or 10 produce, you have to the material needed was what we increase. That is called what a variable cost. That means that material will increase, but a cost that does not increase is called a fixed cost. The volume of activity may be one, Volume of sales. So the activity will be volume of sales. That means in the sales department, if they want to sell a unit, right, the cost that they will incur might be lower. And if they want to increase units sold, the cost of they will incur will increase. Volume of production. So units of production is your activity level. Total labor hours, machine hours at activity level, number of production units inspected, number of journey or buses or trains or delivery, and so on. As a general rule, total costs are expected to increase as the volume of activity rises. And the general rule is that your total cost, which is when you add your fixed cost and your variable cost together, is your total cost. That means or 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 the total cost of material will increase if your activity levels increase. Management might want information about estimated costs or about what costs should be or what costs should have been. An understanding of cost behavior is necessary in order to one forecast or plan what costs ought to be. Compare actual costs that were incurred with what the cost should have been. So, the most important classification of costs for the purpose of cost estimation is the division of cost into fixed or variable costs. Others are semi-variable costs and what step-up costs. These are the four major costs we have. That means it's either the cost of production or the cost incurred by an entity. It's either is fixed or is variable or is semi-variable or is what is step-up cost. Now, what is fixed cost? This is a cost. This is a cost which tends to be unaffected. It's a cost which tends to be unaffected by increase or decrease in the volume of output. That means a fixed cost does not change. For example, the rent paid in the factory, the rent paid. Now, if you produce one unit, you will see incur the same rent. If you produce 10 units, you see incur the what? The same rent. That means the rent paid for the factory is a what? A fixed cost. Fixed costs, fixed costs are a period cost. We call it period cost. It it is a cost which are accrued in relation to the passage of time and which with indefinable limit tend to be unaffected by fluctuation in the volume of output. Now, variable cost, only variable cost. So it's a cost which tends to vary directly with the volume of output. Now, variable cost change. That means your material is a variable cost. That means if you produce 10 units of a particular product, the material cost might be 50. If you produce 20 units, the material cost will increase from 50 to like 100. The variable cost per unit is the same amount of each unit produced. Now, the variable cost means is the variable cost per unit. That is how much material will you incur in order to produce a unit of that activity. That is the variable cost per unit. And variable cost per unit is fixed, does not change. So variable cost per unit, when you multiply it with the total units you produce, you get the total variable cost. You get the total variable cost. It might also represent a cost items that maintains a perfect relationship with the activity levels or costs that will react proportionately to movement within the level of activity. Now, the graph of a fixed cost. Fixed cost um, remain unchanged. Remain unchanged. While a variable cost slope upward from left to right. Variable cost flipped upward from what? Left to right. Now, what is semi-variable cost, or call it semi-fixed cost or mixed cost? Now, this is the challenging aspect of cost accounting or management information. We must always. Our next topic is cost separation. This is and the major of comparison is how to separate a semi-variable cost. There's some costs that they are neither fixed nor they are what variable. That means they have both elements inside it. That means they have fixed element and variable element inside the cost. So that's cost. Such cost is called a semi-variable cost. This is a cost which contain both fixed and variable components, and so it's partly affected by changes in the level of activity. So that is a semi-variable cost, which is a mixed cost. And they have both fixed elements and variable elements. So step cost. When we say step cost, a step a step cost, or we say a step up fixed cost or step fixed cost. And it's a step fixed cost. Remember, I explained earlier that fixed cost does not change; it remains the same in all level of activity. But that is not always the case in all situation. Let me go back to the rent I use in manufacturing. Now, if the space used to produce an item, what the space can contain is like 10,000 units, and you want to produce beyond that 10,000 units, you want to produce like 20,000, want to produce 12,000. I mean, that space is not enough. That means you need an additional space. So that additional space is called the step office cost. That means the cost will remain fixed up to a particular level of activity. It will now move upward. After that particular level, it's called a step up cost. A step fixed cost is a cost which has a fixed cost behavior pattern within a limited range of activity and goes up or down in terms in steps when the volume of activity rises above or falls below certain level level. Now, let me give what is the formula for the total cost. Now, total cost means when you add your fixed cost and your variable cost, the addition of fixed cost and variable cost is what the total cost of production, of total cost of an item. Where FC, remember FC is the what the fixed cost, and VC is variable cost. Now, but your variable cost is not just VC. Your variable cost now equals to BX. And what is BS? Where B is the variable cost per unit. I told us that variable cost per unit is always fixed. It's always unchanged. Variable cost per unit. That is how much we incurred in producing 1 unit of a product or activity. We say that is what that is your variable cost per unit. Your S is what the activity level. That's the total units produced. And when you multiply the cost per unit to the total units produced, you get your total fees to your total variable cost. Now let's look at illustration to buttress this examples I said. And this illustration will help us to know the classification of cost into the nature and behavior. Now, illustration one. The following data are the actual cost of Mercy Limited for the month of June 2020. Now, these are costs that was actually incurred. We have direct material, we have direct labor, we have supervisory labor, we have factory rent and rates, we have fuel and power, we have costing office expenses, we have maintenance, we have depreciation, we have miscellaneous. All these costs you must be able to classify them. Are they variable? How are they fixed? and able to tell us, okay, this cost is direct or is what indirect. That will be our next topic, also our next class. You are required. The production for the month of June were 500 units. Were 500 units. You are required. So this total cost, this cost were for what? 500 units. You are required to determine determine the variable cost per unit. You want to know the variable cost per unit. That means all this want to know the variable cost per unit. Then B, determine the total determine the total fixed cost. Determine the total fixed cost using uh, using cost account analysis method. Then C, determine what the total cost would be in July. So let's look at solution to this question. Now, the cost classification analysis. Now, this cost we want to classify them into the variable or fixed components. Into the variable or fixed components. Now, you want to know if a particular cost will change if units of activity increase, or it will not change, or it does not affect the production. It doesn't affect the production. Now, number one, direct material. Direct material is a variable cost because direct material is a variable cost because it change if activity levels increase. So you put direct material 1 8. The next, direct labor. Direct labor is also a what? A variable cost. It's a variable cost because when you want to increase units of item you want to produce, then you need more labor. You need more hands. So this this is a variable cost. Another one is supervisory labor. Supervisory labor is a fixed cost. Why? It's a fixed cost in the sense that it does not affect activity level because supervisor, even if you produce 5 units, this one supervisor might be used to supervise the production. So, supervisory labor or supervisor is always fixed cost. They are not a direct cost. So they're not direct into that production. So supervisory labor is a fixed cost. Factory rent and rate that I've explained, rent and rate is a fixed cost because if you produce 5 units, you produce 10 units, you still have to pay the same rent. You still have to pay the same rent. So even if you don't produce anything, you still have to pay the same rent. Now, fuel and power. Fuel and power is not fixed cost. Is your variable cost because we use them in the production. So if there is no if there is no production, there is no need for you to incur to go and purchase fuel. And remember that the the more the more units you produce, the longer it will takes. That means and the more fuel and power you will need. So that means it varies directly to activity level. So we say is a variable cost. The next thing is office expenses. Also, office expenses is a fixed cost because it's a fixed cost. Office expenses is a fixed cost because and it's a cost incurred in the office. Admin expenses. Maintenance. I would say maintenance. Maintenance is maintenance is a variable cost in the sense that your maintenance is the cost you incurred in maintaining your production. So it's a variable cost. Depreciation is always a fixed cost in accounting, also in cost accounting, management accounting, performance management, and management information. Miscellaneous is fixed cost because it does not relate to the production. So miscellaneous is all other costs. All other costs is called miscellaneous. Now, the total of your fixed cost, is three is three is three. Now, the total fixed cost is 3,450. So why your total variable cost? Your total variable cost is 540 5,400. Now let's go to A of the A. A says calculate your variable cost per unit. Now your variable cost per unit, very simple. Your variable cost per unit, variable cost per unit, variable cost per unit. Now your variable cost per unit is your variable cost per unit. Your variable cost per unit is your total variable cost over your total activity level or unit produced. And is your total variable cost. Total variable cost over total total activity level. And activity level can be unit of production. Can be unit of what? Production. So your variable cost per unit of item produced will equals to, now your variable cost which is your total variable cost is 5 3 divided by the total unit. We are told that the production unit in June is 500, so it's 500 units. 500 500 units. So our variable cost per unit is 10.80. Now for the B, we are asked to determine the total fixed cost unit. Now your total fixed cost using the analytical, so that what we did. So your total fixed cost is based on a account analysis method is 3,000 3,450. Then C the C says that determine the total cost would be in July, in July, in July, in July, in July, if the production is is 750, is 700 and what? 50. It's 750. So the C said our total cost. Remember the total cost is TC equals FC plus BX. Now, and we are told that if we produce 750 units, what will be our total cost? Now, our total cost is TC, which is the total cost is. Remember that we said our fixed cost is always fixed, it does not change. So when we produce 500 units and now want to produce 750 units, the fixed cost will remain the same thing, which is fixed cost will be 3,550. Now our our B our B is the variable cost per unit. Or what's our variable cost per unit? Our variable cost per unit is 10.8, while the activity level is 750. So total cost will now equals 350 plus 8, then total cost equals to 11,550. So with this we've solved illustration 1. So our next class we will start from our direct and indirect cost. So I might do the live class, then upload it on our platform. So good night. Thank you for your time.